Man, let's breathe that one. That's a breath right there.
Still in the midst of I've only been clean for a year. I'm very green. I'm very new. I'm a newborn baby when it comes to that shit.
Yeah.
I'm 1 year old. And then I take a look around in my life and the mess that I've created. I'm just like, damn, I asked for this, But I'm asking for help out. And that there's something to it didn't take me a day to Rome wasn't built in a day, right? It didn't take me a day to I always tell people that you take around, you see you've dug this hole for yourself, and you look up, and the it looks like it's a mile deep.
Yeah.
And it took time to get there. It's not like you just dug that shit overnight. It takes time to get out.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel right now. Slowly but surely. I just want everything to just come together. So yesterday. Yeah. I want that shit tomorrow. I want that shit yesterday.
That's right.
I look around and I'm it's exactly like you said. Have these victories. These little victories. Have some patience with yourself. Day by day. You did something good today. Your work will come to fruition.
That's it.
If you keep on that shit.
Welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. My name is Ashanti Branch, and I'm really glad you've joined us. Today's guest is Antonio Chavez. I first learned about Antonio when a video that he recorded in Pacific Heights in San Francisco was very impactful and very much spoke to my heart. I saw a man being approached in a really negative way, and how he just, with energy, with passion, with purpose, and a lot of words, he created a space for himself to be himself. He recognized that this man was trying to intimidate him and put pressure on him and even threatened to call the police on him, and how he held his ground and spoke his truth. Oftentimes these videos somehow take a wild turn, but he kept education as a really beautiful weaving of that experience. When you watch the video, if you ever see it, and actually we may even put a link here, you'll see that there's some language that you may not like. But when I heard it, I was actually really proud to hear him speak up for himself. That sometimes in the words we use shows the heart that we carry. Some people can't hear past the words. But in this conversation, we don't talk about that incident. We talk about our masks and how the masks we wear have created the communities, the spaces, and sometimes the people we spend time around. Antonio is a courier. His work delivers resources to people in the community. And I'm really glad that we got to connect. I'm really excited about what opportunities that we can do together to build stronger community for all people. Definitely for our young people who don't feel they're seen or heard, or who might find themselves in a tough situation and don't know how to get out. But man, Antonio can speak to being in a rough place. He spoke about his son, how he wants to be a good father for his son. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We are excited to continue meeting people and men and young men who are willing to talk, willing to take off the mask. And if you want to make a mask, you can do that as well. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Thank you for being a part of year 2. This is the first episode of year 2. And we're excited that you get to hear from Antonio. Enjoy the show. First of all, Antonio, welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. I'm so glad that you've joined us. Thanks for your patience in this early part of getting all this technology set up. And I'm glad to connect with you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. Well, I would like you just to introduce yourself, let folks know who you are and what information you want to share about yourself. And then you and I will jump into the mask.
All right. My name is Antonio Chavez. I am just a guy. I'm the delivery dude. I'm a working bike messenger here in San Francisco. I'm also founder of Lost Soul Courier Collective, which is a harm reduction organization, a collective of other working messengers who use our skills that we've acquired as messengers to deliver harm reduction, food supplies. We also do bike riding outreach. We're centered around adventure cycling, which is like getting people out of this, out of the hood to like parks and other, just getting them out of here. Really, just like, that's what people want to do. It's escapism, right? So it's like a positive. It's harm reduction, and it's harm reduction in function and flow. Like it is taking people out of their environment and helping people to just forget about all that and see that there's more to this world than the corner of Golden Gate and Hyde. So that has been my one of my life projects, one of my life missions and goals is to just help people, like really just be a compassionate human being for once in my life. And it brings me genuine happiness. It really does. I appreciate spaces like yours where, we can examine these things, like why do we do the things that we do? Why are we the way that we are? Like how did we get here as a society? Like these masks that we wear, these devices of toxic masculinity. That I'm a firm believer that the world is submerged in this ideology of, what does it mean to be a man, and how awful can that be? How beautiful can it be? There's so many. Everything is everything. There's so many sides to this. This is why, whoever's listening, if they seen the video between me and John. How did we get here? Why did me and this man like even cross paths? In a million years, like him from his world and me from mine, we never should have crossed paths. But what was it that landed us there? I don't know.
I love that breath right there. I'm gonna take one of those with you. Yeah, I think for people who haven't seen the video, maybe we'll show a clip here, but I'll put the link in the chat in the show notes.
So who are you with?
It's none of your business. Please get out of my face, dude.
But you haven't identified yourself.
That's none of your business.
You're the one in the neighborhood here.
Yeah, that's right. So what? Don't think I don't know why you came over here and stopped me. Because you think I belong in another neighborhood, right? He hollered at me from that window right there. He asked me what I'm doing. I told him none of his business, and he came down here and wanted to talk to me. So now we're going to talk. Bit off more than you can chew, didn't you? Good for you. You heard about the Karen Act, right? So good luck with that. Who's really breaking the law? Okay. Good thing you did this, huh? Good thing this is how you woke up in the morning and decided what to do. This is what you decided to do with your day.
Maybe since you mentioned it, how much of it do you want to share, or I think ultimately, when I saw the video, my heart went out for you as a man who was trying to do the work that you feel you were destined to do, the work, not only a job, but that you seem to be really passionate about it. And then to have somebody come in your space and question you, threaten you, like all those things. Like I was angry for you. I was enraged for you, right? A
lot of people were. That was like, in my opinion, it wasn't all that profound to me. It's just like, it just surprised me. I was like, wow, I'm surprised that so many people like were really feeling what I had to say, And I was like, well, I mean, it's obvious if you look the way I look, or you look the way that you look. And what is it? What is that? Like, what was it about me that was so threatening? Like, it leaves a lot of questions. I mean, it's definitely part of why why I'm even talking to you today. And I mean, you want to take that apart. There was a lot of, like, I don't know. You want to dive into it? I've thought a lot about it.
Oh man. Well, I think that it may be connected to what you wrote on the mask. I don't know if it has anything to do with what you wrote on the mask. So we can either start there. Okay. So let's start there, and then how about you decide if you want to share first or I share first, and then we'll wrap around it. Well, I imagine it's already happening. We're already in the conversation, so it's beautiful. So you
go first.
Okay. So the way we normally do it is I'll share the front, and then you share front, and then you can share I'll share the back, and then you can share the back. Okay. So here's the front of my mask. I drew this little square today. I wrote hardworking, serious, and caring. And the reason those words stood out to me today, because today was a long day. It was a hard day. And sometimes I have a dance between, like, because I work really hard, and no one has to hold me to high expectations. Like, I hold myself to higher expectations than anybody ever could. But oftentimes, because I work so hard and I'm so serious, it's sometimes hard to see that I'm really caring sometimes, because I expect other people to work hard too. And I sometimes get so busy into the busy and the serious that my face wears my expression. Like, if I don't purposely make myself smile, I inherited my father's lips. They aim down. So if I'm not purposely smiling, people, I grew up with my community, people like, who you mugging? Who you looking at? I'm like, huh? Like, I'm not mugging. Huh? I don't even know. What does mugging mean? I don't even know what that means yet. I'm only 7. What is mugging? Like, if I'm not purposely, so I learned to put on a smile all the time. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes my face hurts because I'm trying to disarm people all the time. And sometimes in the workplace, it can get like, I'm just head down getting stuff done. And it's sometimes harder to see how caring I really want to be. And I've learned that sometimes when I'm so caring, people don't think I'm serious, because I'm trying to be so nice and smile about everything. And sometimes my directions aren't making clarity because I was saying it in such a nice way. It seemed like a suggestion. Right. And so I think it's how my mask is just like kind of navigating, like you and me connecting. I was like, what happened? I called Kevin. I was like, what happened? And he was like, and I'm like trying to like keep it cool. But in my mind, I'm like, what the heck is going on? Right. And it's like, oh,
sorry about that. My bad.
No, not even. No.
There's a lot to deal with.
Don't even worry about it. But for me, like, I hold myself and my team, like, that we should have made sure and checked in with you and see if you needed anything. I think it's me, right? It's part of me. It's part of my serious part. Because sometimes, and that's what I noticed today. So that's one that stood out to me, is that these, as much as I try and show these, like, hardworking and serious are much harder to show. Much easier. They come out much easier than sometimes how the caring comes out. So that's my front of my mask.
That's real.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I share mine?
Yeah, the front. Just the front.
Okay.
Just the front, yeah.
I'm fronting. Yeah, all right. Let me show you what I'm fronting. I put generous. It's backwards.
No, we see it. I see it.
Generous, thoughtful, / compassionate, determined / focus on making a lasting change. Nice. I'll do a little like happy face, yo. What's happening? Yo. Just try to just, yo, what's happening? Just try to, I just try to keep it like cool, like exactly like you said. It's that finding that balance between, like, I'm trying to be serious, but at the same time, like, I'm hyper aware of my outward appearance. Like, I'm aware that, like, exactly like you said, like, I gotta Oh, can I cut? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to cuss on. Okay.
Go right ahead. Go right. Go.
No cussing or
No.
see, I'm trying to.
No. Be. Speak how you need to speak.
All right. I was like, yeah, I got a shit mug. I know it. I know it. I just like, not even because I'm mugging. Like I'm just like in my own head, like, you know, like having a bad day or just like thinking about the things that I'll be going through on a daily basis. And I'm like, you know, and I see somebody I know and they're like, yo, you all right? And I'm like, oh yeah. And you try to flip it, just like you said, like smile on. And then you get caught in that, like, you get trying to find somewhere in between those high highs and those low lows. Cause I want to be, you know, I want to be approachable. I want to be just exactly like you said, disarming, because I know that, you know, perceptions of me are they're important. They're important. They're, you know, depending on where you're at, like that, it's could be the difference between life and death. Like, yeah. I mean, you know, you don't want somebody to be like, who's, you know what I mean? Like, who's this fool walking down the street? Who's this motherfucker, you know, bugging or whatever. You want to see the cops. You don't want to like look too, you know what I mean? Like, don't look too threatening. You know, cover up them tattoos. Try to put a little pep in your step.
That's right.
All these things, they all come together to make one. I guess that's the other side of my mask.
Yeah. Oh man. That was thank you for that. And here's the back. I thank you for sharing that. I mean, man, it resonated a lot, and I think that idea of when you talked about the police part, that is one of my, man, like I am one who gets freaked out when I see these lights flashing, right? I'm driving or whatever. I'm just like,
stomach drops, does flips, right? You feel like your heart stands still, right?
Oh man, I even feel like I'm in Starbucks. If I'm in a cafe or something, and I'm like, they walk in, I'm like, they're not here for you. They're here for their coffee. But my body, my brain,
you're like, ooh, freeze.
I just want to get out. I just want to get moving. I'm like, okay. And I think it's just that. Oh, I mean, it's just what I mean. I wonder what that does to kids. I mean, I know what it does to me as an adult. Who has a job and who thinks I'm, you know, trying to do good thing in the world. But what do our kids feel when they witnessed on these devices over and over, like innocent lives being taken? I mean, I can't even watch anymore. When it happens, if I know that's about, I say, I'm not watching it. I can't watch anymore. I mean, I've seen so many shoot 'em up movies in my life. There's nothing more for me, much more internalized feeling than to see it real. There's one thing when you see a movie and you're like, oh, look at that. They're you know, they're spraying, you know, and it's no big deal, laughing and giggling.
Right, exactly.
I cannot watch another one. And I feel like there's something about that is really puts it really real, you know?
I mean, we're in a new age, like just like you said, like, you know, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 29, and you know, I grew up on all kinds of shoot 'em up movies. There was like not a lot of discretion. Like, you know, I knew people who had gotten shot, like, but I mean, you know, to see like, especially from like the cop on civilian violence, like the, you know, and like all these like Captain America type vigilante type, you know, put on your suit and cape and go and shoot somebody and then get away with it.
That's right.
I who knows, like, this is like a new technology, really trip off it. Like, I mean, to really see, you know, I know that a couple of my uncles had gotten their ass kicked by the cops and like ended up in the hospital. You know, I don't personally know anybody who's been murdered by the police, but you know, to like see that like in real time, like on a, you know, like on a, who knows how these types of things are going to affect the psyche of our children.
That's right.
That's like really trip off that. Really think about that.
Yeah.
Exactly like you said. Like you've seen a million shoot 'em up, bang bang. You know, you play video games, whatever. That has an effect on people, right, for sure, without a doubt.
That's right.
Imagine like that. Who knows in what direction this new generation will be pushed. I mean, even like, you know, like trip off, you know, MySpace and Facebook were like up and coming things when I was a kid, and you didn't get to see that. Like it wasn't like you know, like really trip off the power of the recording device.
Yeah.
Even when the Rodney King riots happened, it was such a bombshell. It was so like earth shattering.
Yeah.
Because it was like a camcorder. You know what I mean? Like trip off how just the technology has changed. It went from like, he had to go and load up his camcorder, make sure the battery was ready. And that was like cutting edge shit. That was top of the line. You know what I mean? That's like a camcorder. Not everybody had that. Now you got it in your pocket, like on demand.
That's
Trip off the sheer volume of these awful, terrible, like gruesome, blood curdling videos. I mean, what other word? Like, those are the words that I use because that's exactly what it is. I don't know what effect that's going to have on our kids.
Yeah. I think, oh man, you just said it. And I got goosebumps when you said it. I think, imagine the fact that I was asking my friend of mine the other day, maybe it's the algorithm that I've chosen by watching a few of these kind of crazy videos. I feel like every time I go into YouTube, there's some more craziness. It gets crazier and crazier. And it's like, has the world always been this crazy? Or is it just now that we get to see it? We can see it happening in Chicago, LA, New York, DC, around the world, like another absolute ridiculous event happening. And I have to like stop watching. I have to stop. I gotta stop watching them. I gotta stop, I'm being clever when I click on to watch a video because I'm like, what's this? What's the title? Let me make sure no one's gonna die in this one because I just can't watch it anymore. I remember I see myself, oh, somebody's about to get, nope, I'm not watching that one. And I just have to run away from it. And I think, how much at the discretion of our young people who may not yet know, don't ingest all that stuff. Don't ingest all that hate and that evil and that whatever words you put around it. Don't take it in. Don't take it in. Right.
What do they call it now? Doom scrolling. That's bad for your health, man. I feel like just like, especially like through the George Floyd uprising, we were all in our houses. We were glued to our, technology as same as I was. I was working, but like it was like watching, like it was kind of like, it was scary. It was scary. There's no way around it. If you lived through 2020, that shit was scary, bro. You ain't gonna don't tell me you weren't scared. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. That shit was scary. And it was like crazy to like watch all this, like people were just like stuck to their phones, just like with this crate, like just you could see I'm like, what are you looking at? Like talking to my girlfriend, like I don't even gotta ask you. I know what you're looking at. Like, please stop. You know what I mean? And then me hopping on because I just can't look away, just hopping back on, just like, ugh. Yeah. And then you scroll and then one day George Floyd is on there getting choked, basically smothered, dying in front of you. That's pretty heavy, bro. Yeah. And that's not like they just get worse and worse. Like they're graphic. There's nothing like that it's like I think about that, it could be a meme, like that movie Fury. He's like, wait till you see, and the dude's like, what, and he's like, wait till you see what a man could do to another man. And it's like, bro, it's crazy to like watch all this. Like, you don't even got to go far. You don't got to log into a computer. It's right there in your pocket.
Yeah,
little like black mirror into just like hell.
That's right.
The world's always been crazy. Like we all know that, but it's just like there's something like more sinister and like insidious about like being able to watch it like happen to other people. Something like is really disturbing to me about that. And like something like it's two sides of the same coin. Like it's some of it's like it's really dope to think about it. Like, there could be this unity, but also on the flip side of that, it's like really dark. It's like the internet's a cold place. It's a warped, twisted place, but it's really just a window into the other, into other people's realities.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a powerful quote you said. Tell me who said that quote? Wait till you see what a man can do to another man.
It was just it's in this movie Fury. It's like another one of those. It's a war movie. Not very profound, and then I mean there are some parts that stuck with me. Yeah, but it's like a pretty gruesome movie, but like it's like real gory. It's a war movie, but like it's super gory.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that. Even though when you think about that, when I was listening to either a podcast the other day when they talked about the what is that movie? A long time ago, old movie. It was called I forgot. Faces of Death is what it was called, and it would show just these things that people were just like amazed that probably might make a video showing these things, but I mean it was like nothing compared to what you had to almost get access to a VHS to be able to watch it because it was
exactly like it was on VHS. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I never watched it, but my uncle had it, and I was just like, he was like, never watch this, and I was like, okay, like I don't ever, And now it's like, imagine there's none of that discretion.
That's right.
Like, I mean,
That's
who
right.
doesn't have it? Like my 10-year-old nephew got a phone, and I'm like, I know it's impossible. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, watch him all the time that he got that phone? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, slap it out of his hand? It's just no discretion anymore. Like, there's no, you cannot. It's bizarre. I mean, like some parts of it are cool if you think about it, but other parts are like really creepy
and destructive. I mean, I think our young men, the work we do with a lot of young men, and we talk to young men about, pornography or that stuff, they get shy and they get sober and embarrassed about it. And I'm like, well, just so you know, be careful, because, old school looking at a magazine, you got to flip the pages. And now you got to or you have one VHS. Now you have 18, you got as many tabs as you want. There's no limit. There's no limit. And how does your body begin to absorb all that stuff? And you think that that's real. You think that that's what your partners want. And you sometimes don't even know that you're watching some even more gruesome stuff and things that are actually affecting your brain, right? Affecting your wellness, and so I think we just gotta, our work is how do we help them have healthy conversations about it, so they don't get, so that's not their education, that this doesn't become what you learn values from, right? Because I think phones are amazing, but I think if you use that as a value system, your value system is gonna be a little bit challenged,
Yeah, there's all these super, that's how Q came to be. You got all these. There's so many oh my god, it's exhausting. Looking at all these clickbait, click hole, where I'm like, bro, these people really believe this shit. Without a doubt. How could you possibly believe these things? Without a doubt, they're so convinced. This is the facts.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And you could convince yourself. I mean, what's that? The newest meme? That's my favorite meme of the week. Somebody, you sheep, do some research, and then it's them doing research, and it's them sitting on the toilet watching YouTube videos. That's just propaganda, one way or the other.
That's right.
It gets deep. The technology is getting it's a spooky fucking world we live in, man. And it's it just gets cold every day.
Oh man. And imagine where we are in this conversation right now. We haven't even talked about the back yet. We haven't even got to the back. I think we
haven't even got to the back, man. Every day. I try.
I think it's deep.
I don't know.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna share my back, because I think some of it I've already talked about it in just in the essence of how I feel, because in this conversation we're actually able to go there, and I'm gonna show you this back. So I wrote fear of, and I wrote 3 lines because there's a lot of fears I have, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being able to run this organization the way I dream of it running, sadness about death. My father died before I was born. So I've been reading this book that talks about in my mom's womb, I was swimming in sadness. The chemicals that make up sadness, my mom was carrying me in it for months, right? And
that's legit. That's real too. There's science behind that.
Yeah, and I put worry because sometimes I think I worry because I really want to do a good job, but also I worry because I work so hard, and I'm like, is it working? Sometimes I have to ask myself, is it working? And even when good stuff happens, I celebrate it maybe 10, 20 minutes, and then I'm back to trying to work so hard again, where I don't even give myself a credit of something did go well, and I wish I didn't worry so much about it. But yeah, those are the 3 on the back of my mask.
Mine. Shit, mine are way different.
That's okay. It's all right.
You read that?
I can.
Struggles with substance abuse.
Thank you.
Being a felon, coming from having a checkered background. Being a womanizer. That is something that brings me shame. Like, I mean, like now that I'm older, doesn't feel great. What else did I write? Depression and anxiety, which lead to self-harm and, you know, obviously outward harm, like inward directed harm directed inward and outward, just harm altogether, you know?
Yeah.
And that's me. It's, you know, yo, one side says yo, this side says no.
No.
And that's my shit mug.
Man, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, brother.
I like that you with the 3 lines, you know, here, I really took this apart. I really spent a lot of time. Maybe I think too much. I think a lot. Maybe I think too much, but I like trip off, you know, I have a son now and I don't really have much to offer him. And it bothers me, like going back to John, going back to that viral video, like looking up at his house, like passing by, like I passed by just to like look at the spot, you know, it feels like I'm returning to the scene of a crime. I don't know why. It wasn't even that big of a deal. It wasn't even that big of a deal, bro. Like it was like, it affected me in a very profound way, but it happened so commonly. Like it made me like think of like this like, you know, I said it in another interview, like it feels like a tale of 2 cities. Like look at me, like look at me down here looking up at his like existence, this the George Jefferson, the deluxe apartment in the sky. Like, look at how you're living, you know, up there, like without a care in the world. And look at me down here, and like somehow still we cross paths. Like, how could that be? And I think about like, you know, the internet's a cold place, right? They found out the next day that this dude has a son that goes to Stanford. He's a lawyer in training, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I could send my son to Stanford. I'm hoping he has some aspirations like that where he really swings for the fence, reaches for the stars. I'm hoping that maybe like if I'm on him enough, like we could change the story of our family from, you know, a long legacy of, I don't know, like sad stories with sad endings. And I'm like, I'm tired of it. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick to death of it. I'm sick of like looking around, seeing it like everybody's faces. I look at their faces and I'm like, damn, I know that look, that like tinge of desperation. I'm sick of seeing it. Cause I see it sometimes when I look in the mirror, you know? And I have a son now, like trip off how cold that is. Like his father is an abuser, a dope fiend, a felon, you know, a criminal. His grandfather, same. His great grandfather, same. Like really trip off how cold that is. Like it just like the more I take it in, the more I like step back and look at it, the more it's just like, it's like looking at a room. It's like looking at this room. Look at this room. We just moved into this office space.
Nice.
It's like looking at that pile right there. What a perfect visual, right? It's like looking at that pile right there. Like, where do you even start? Like, it's so overwhelming. Like thinking about all the like shit that I've gone through, like things that I want to do, like the things that I'm like scared that I'll fail. Like, I mean, failing my son, that's something that keeps me up at night. You know, like I think about like the people that I hate, that I've like really, you know, not hate, but like I love to hate, whatever. Hate to love to hate, the people that I love the most that have let me down the most. And I really trip off like it's so easy to point the finger at them, you know, like look at me, I'm mad at my mom, I'm mad at my pops for making all the decisions that I have in my adulthood. I've made the same mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, I look at the people that I look at the fathers of my siblings, you know, because we got different pops, and I hate them for doing what they've done. I hate them for being absentee fathers. Like I hate them for that. And then how does that make me feel when I look in the mirror and I'm like, damn, like I was that same for like the first few years of my son's life. I was that same man. I'm that same person. How human we all are, right?
Yeah.
Maybe on the other side of that mask, finding forgiveness and what that truly means. maybe just like understanding, like now I get it. Like now I understand, like even my father, he was sober and he fell off.
Yeah.
You know, and like I was so hard on him, like I was so like, get it together, like what the fuck, like you fucking knock, like this and that, all these things that I said to him, all these awful things, and like somehow, some way, I found myself in the same house that I grew up, spun out of my mind, like damn, like I'm that same, like we are the same. And he had some big shoes to fill, you know, in such a profound way. So I mean, it's like everything is everything, bro. Like it's,
man, let's breathe that one. That's a breath right there.
Still in the midst of like, you know, I've only been clean for a year. I'm very green. I'm very new. I'm a newborn baby when it comes to that shit.
Yeah.
I'm 1 year old. And then like, I take a look around in my life and the mess that I've created. I'm just like, damn, like I asked for this, you know? But I'm asking for help out. And you know, that there's something to like, it didn't take me a day to like, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? It didn't take me a day to like, I always tell people that like, you take around, you see you dug this hole for yourself and you look up and the you know, it looks like it's a mile deep. Yeah. And it took time to get there. Like, it's not like you just dug that shit overnight. Like it takes time to get out. Yeah. And that's how I feel right now. Like slowly but sure. Like I just want everything to just like come together. Like so yesterday. Yeah. I want that shit tomorrow. I want that shit yesterday.
That's right.
I look around and I'm like, it's exactly like you said, like have like these victories, you know, these little victories, like have some patience with yourself, like day by day, like you did something good today, like your work will come to fruition, you know. That's it. If you keep on that shit, if you keep on it, if you don't, like, don't lead yourself astray neither. That's part of it. Like stay focused. There it is. Easy to fuck up and like, you know what I mean? Like I'm in the L's right now, you know. Okay. Like I grew up in the Panhandle, like I grew up on the Viz, you know, and even in, you know, I grew up between the Viz and Pacifica, and a lot of people don't even like know about, you know, like Pacifica. There's nothing but dope fiends out there too, you know. Like there's nothing. Like I take a look around, like it's easy to fuck up. Like when I first got clean, I like found myself all the time like going through my phone, like, damn, like I need a friend right now. Like I really like, and I'm just like looking like, should I hit them up? No. Like, oh, let me hit up. I don't know. I know what they're doing. Like I miss them. Like trust me. Like I want to see how they're doing. Like I hope they're all right. But I know what they're doing. That's right. And I know, like, you know, misery loves company, and like I'm gonna go be, you know, I'm gonna go have fun while being miserable. Be miserable while having fun. You know, like it's a mask that we wear.
Man, I just want to, first of all, I want to just honor you. I don't know your son, but I the story you just told, and I truly believe that this all happened for a reason, you know. And I don't, I'm on a men's team, you know, and I joined this men's team 10 years ago. I'm 46 right now, so I was 36. And what I realized early on is that I never had a place where I could, first of all, trust men. I mean, trust is like, oh, I know they have my back. That's one thing. But where I could trust men enough to tell them all that I was going through and feeling, right? Without worrying about being judged or made fun of, or, man, all the stuff that you get.
Oh, you weird. Get out of here with your emotions.
Oh, man. How many, and weird would be a nice word. I would accept weird. Yeah. There's so much more graphic language they use to conform you. And
I already know what you're about to say. I'm not going to say it. We're trying to stop saying that word, right? I know what you're going to say.
But I think that but what you get to do now is you get to change it all. And I think it sounds like you are changing it all. Like you're saying what I hear you saying, and I'm hoping I'm hearing this, that like, I want to create something for my son that he can look up to. Like they didn't lay it out for me. Like my dad didn't leave me a letter. He didn't leave me a legacy. He didn't leave me an inheritance. He left me a lot of wondering and crying tears, right? And I'm like, and I don't have kids right now, but I raise like my god kids, and I help raise my siblings. And I think that, you know, my siblings all had different fathers too. And I was like, none of these fathers stay. Like, none of them stay. And when my mom finally got married, man, oh man, oh man. And I just want to honor you, brother. And I don't know. It sounds, just by what your words you're saying, that this is an opportunity for absolutely radical change. I think those bikes that you just showed, I think, like, I would love to figure. I mean, I don't know much about it. I know how to use a wrench and a screwdriver or whatever. Like, and I got a team of men that I'm on a men's team. Maybe we could have a bike working day. Whatever, like how to create something to serve you in this vision you have for helping people get out, get disconnected, so we can breathe, so that we can.
That's it. That's the only goal. Live a little. Lively up yourself. Like, if there's all these, like, we all know what we should and shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And like, exactly like you said, like, bikes have like profoundly changed my life. How simply beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I just yesterday, we've been, me and a bunch of my colleagues, I got, a bunch of people together that we, they donate bikes, they donate money so we can get like these bikes that are like, like high to mid quality, sometimes low quality. We fix them up, bring them back to life. People got them sitting in their garages. They're like, just take them, bring them back to life. And that's what we've been doing.
Nice.
That's what we've been doing. And, I've been working, and it's been kind of like rough, and exactly like you said, like, I want to help people, but I got to like take time to like take care of myself and like my responsibilities.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we've been building up the bikes. We've given them to another organization in the Excelsior called the Excelsior Strong, with one of my dudes, Oscar from BC's. That's my dude. That's my OG, right? And they do this dirt ride every second Monday, every other Monday, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make it out there. I'm like, and he's just like, yeah, all right. And I finally just like dropped by, like, Cameo. I'm like, hey, what's happening? Like, I got some time off now. And it was so dope to like see people that look just like me on these bicycles. People that are coming from, they came all the way from the east, from Oakland.
Wow.
Came out to ride these bikes, and like, bro, just like, I loved it, like seeing the little dudes on just tearing up the trails, and I'm like, bro, like I've been down on myself, like, I'm like, man, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I, like, am I helping people as much as I can? Am I being as, what's the word, generous as I would like to be?
Yeah.
And then like I see it come to fruition. I see people on the bikes, and I'm like, bro, like, this is where it starts. Like, I'm hoping it sticks. And if this, like, just like putting that thing in their mind, like, if this doesn't stick, try instruments, maybe try dance, maybe try art, maybe try, the cliche stuff, sports, wherever you fit in.
That's right.
So that, like, whatever you want to do, like, if you're in the books, whatever, bro, whatever, you're in the Dungeons and Dragons, I don't care. Do it. Stay out of trouble. Like, do that, flourish in that. Like, keep that, have that thing in your head where it's like, yeah, try stuff.
Yeah.
Live a little. Simple as that.
That's right.
Get out of here.
Man. Well, I'm glad you got to see it in action. I mean, I think imagine if you didn't go see it, you would still probably not know the impact that that one bike all had on a bigger picture. And I think, as an entrepreneur myself, I think sometimes that happens to me. I am super down on myself. Like, and I said, sometimes it's hard to celebrate. And I think the more we can give ourselves encouragement to like celebrate the small wins. It may be a small win for you to give him a bike, but it could be an absolute ginormous win for a kid who never had a bike.
Never know, man.
And
never
so
know.
I just honor you for that, brother, and for the work you're doing. And like I said, if they're, like I said, I know a lot of men who know a lot more about tools than I do, but I'm on this team of men who I trust and I believe in, and there's a circle that meets there in San Francisco too. And if I can connect you with an external circle of other men that you can go to and connect with, and have men who. Here's our vision of this work: is like, how do we help men become the men they've always wanted to be? It was like, becoming the man you always wanted to be? What would that look like? Like, how do you do it? Well, maybe I got to get around some men who hold me accountable, who push me, who ask me hard questions, right? I think there's a quote that says,
those are the kind of friends that I want. Like, how like, I don't got time for small talk. You know what I mean? Like, shoot it straight. Tell me, keep it real with me.
There it is. There. Well, I'm going to connect, man. After this is all over, I'm going to connect you with a man over there in San Francisco. We have a circle here in Oakland, but there's a circle over there that meets also. And however I can connect you, I think this may just be the beginning of a deeper connection, and I'm excited. I'm thank you for speaking to that. Thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you for the work that you're doing as well. This is restorative justice. This is what is such a hot word because it feels good. This feels good. This feels way better than you know what I mean? Like the drunk tank. This feels way better than tweaking out and just not really facing that other side of that mask. That's really all it is. That's really the biggest revelation in all this harm reduction work is that that's all we're doing. We're just running from the problems that we're too, we just don't want to turn for whatever reason. Maybe you feel too weak. Maybe you just don't want to do it, but you don't want to turn around and face the man that you are, the man that you become.
Yeah.
How much do you like it? How much do you not like it? How much work are you willing to put to change your own story? That's where I'm at, Man. That's where I'm at.
Well, I think that our work, working with youth and young people is to catch them upstream, right? Like we want to catch them before they find themselves in trouble or stuck or in an unmovable position. And our work is that I think when they're young, they want to talk about what they're going through. I think it's like letting go of some of the steam. But in our communities tell us, hey, we don't talk about what happens in this house outside, right? So what do? We bottle up all that pain, sadness, fear, whatever, and we don't talk about it, even with people we trust. And therefore, what happens? It's going to show up. It shows up.
That's true, dude. And as much as you push that shit down, it's always going to bubble up because it's volatile. That's the
right.
Of it. It's not something that, you put it in, you get out what you put in. I take a look around and I see all, right. I don't have to look far. It's right in my household, these, lost souls. I see it in their faces. And I'm like, bro, even though you fronting you're good, I know you're not because when, you know what I mean? When you're at your lowest, that's when all that shit comes out the most. I know that because that's me. That's everybody, bro. It's just a difference in what our realities are. All these things that we go through.
That's
the
right.
Are so much higher. I think about my son and where he's growing up now. The city's a good place to raise kids now, but it just keeps me up at night. Bro, all the pitfalls, everything, all the traps that are set for us.
Yeah.
Trying to teach him, I think about my reality versus John's reality. What does he have to teach his kids? Yeah. Does he have to teach his kids about where to walk, where not to walk? Does he have to teach his kids, put your hands up, don't shoot? Does he have to teach them not to wear red or blue in this neighborhood or black in other ones or green in other ones? Does he have to worry about any of these things at all?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, he don't.
That's right.
That's the whole, I try not to even get I'll cross that stream when I get to it,
Yeah.
But I it that shit keeps me up. It gives me the chills, man, to think of my son going through all the shit that I've gone through. And hopefully if I just stay on him, stay on his helmet, just pay attention to what he's doing. That is my mantra. Just watch this kid like a hawk. Because somebody told me something one time and he said, once you lose control, you've lost control. So you better watch that kid. And I just, it just has stayed in my, that shit just burned into my brain. Damn, that is a reality. The stakes are so much higher.
How old is he? How old is your son?
4.
Okay. Oh, beautiful age. He was absorbing.
Everything's fun. Everything's fun. Going to do laundry. It's dude, we're about to do laundry. Look at this bug. Whoa, what color is that? I know that color. That's yellow. Everything is Everything is dope.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, I just want to, Brian, I appreciate you. There's a fatherhood collective that meets regularly, and I'll connect you with those men too. And it's some beautiful men, just supporting especially young fathers, right? Supporting fathers, because I think the fact that you're doing the fatherhood job, right? We saw so many young men in our community here in Oakland, maybe or even where you live, they don't stay, right? And so they leave this young boy to try and figure out what it means to be a man when there's nobody giving him the guidance, right? And so thank you for that part. And however I can support, our work is here, and we're a small nonprofit, but we are trying to do good work in the world. So, I hope that this is just the beginning of a opportunity for us to connect and in whatever way makes sense for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad. Like sometimes, the feminist movement. I agree with it wholeheartedly. Like the toxic masculinity that we experience on a day to day that we exert.
Yeah.
We take it in and we put it out. Being on the internet, like how could you not be ashamed to be a man? Especially, that's the epitome, that's the embodiment of toxic masculinity. Like everything that I just explained right there, everything that we just put words on.
Yeah.
That's exactly what people are talking about. And like I said, like on a daily basis, sometimes I feel ashamed to be a man, but then it's things like this where I'm like, yes, we do have hope. There still is hope for us. As long as we're doing this shit that's like hard, like asking ourselves these questions, asking each other these questions, like even talking about it, period, is like, at least, if nothing better, at least it's the first step.
That's right. And I think it's even, I mean, even more than even that step is like giving us a chance to like make it normalized. How about we normalize talking about our own real feels? I mean, I think to pretend that we don't feel is almost seems like, why are you pretending? Like, but because we've been told. That's right.
With ourselves,
That's right.
Because that's what we're taught by everything, by our peers, by our siblings, our parents, the institutions that we, have learned everything we've ever done in.
That's
everything
right.
we've ever been taught. It wasn't on accident. Where did it come from? Why is it there? I read the Da Vinci Code. Something it's entertaining, but like reading all these things about how there used to be women priestesses. There used to be, women in positions of power, and how because of politics and power hungry people, women were just snuffed out.
Yeah.
Why did that happen? Where are we at the world today? Like the entire, really trip off, like the entire world, like across the board, like why are we in this? Why are we here? How did we get here?
Yeah.
How can we undo it? Can we undo it?
That's right.
Questions to be asked.
Well, I think that part of our work of undoing it is helping the new generation realize that they don't have to conform. I think when you use that term, toxic masculinity, I appreciate it, and I found myself in a Costco having this man wanted to argue. I'm not really into arguing. He wanted to argue because when I told him I run a mentoring program for young men, he said, "Oh, you don't tell me you're going to talk about that toxic masculinity stuff." And I'm like, "Oh, I wasn't really going to talk about that, but what do you mean?" And what he heard when he heard the phrase toxic masculinity, he heard, "Well, all men are toxic." And I said to him, "Well, where does that come from?" And how I realized was that most men, if they are stuck into the patriarchal society, they don't want to let go of power. You don't let go of power. Power needs to keep power, because otherwise it won't become power. And I think that even with what we experience in this white supremacist type of country that was started here, but that I'm born into, people are weary of losing power, of losing the ability to be in charge, make all the decisions. And I think that oftentimes it embodies itself in this way, right? And I'm like, man, our work is helping our young people be educated and smart and recognize. Well, what did you hear that man say? What did that politician, that person, what did they say? What does it make you feel?
Question these things.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's
question
right.
these things.
That's
question, question everything. Question your motives. Question your own thoughts before anybody else can.
That's right.
Like, settle with yourself. Like all of that, bro. That like people cling on to these ancient archaic ideologies of like, I'm the man of this castle and this is the way it is, and like she's gonna listen to me and she's gonna have, all these like really awful shit. Like you really trip off it, like that's terrible. You know what I mean?
That's
like
right. That's right.
And trip like it needs to be thrown out. It needs to be replaced. We're done. Like we're over that. We know enough about history. We have these little information. We have an encyclopedia in our pockets right here. How could you ignore it? You know what I mean? Like the world has gone down this shithole. This is the real shithole. Earth, the entire Earth has become a shithole. How do we unclog the toilet? We got to try, at least try. Go to the swinging, if not anything else. That's my, I got to try. I got to like try to like, I'm here.
There it is.
For whatever it's worth. Like I have to try to make it a better place than it was when I got here, because it's been flooding. It's been hell and high water. It's been fire and brimstone. The sky turned red. The sky burned fire red last year.
I saw it.
Got to give something like, oh, this shit don't work. Whatever it is, like this white supremacy, this utter disregard for our Mother Earth. Really.
Yeah.
When this Earth dies, we're going with it. There's no way around that. When this Earth dies, we're going with it. Like it's shit as simple as that.
Well, that's what that's.
What is man's greed? Who knows? I don't know.
Well, that's why they're trying to find another planet to live on so they can go mess up another one, I think. So we're gonna keep doing the work here for the youngsters who are here, and we're gonna keep building it for your son. And I appreciate you, man, for making time for this conversation. I'm hoping, and I'm just telling you this out loud, like I'm hoping that this is just the beginning. And like I said,
right there. You're right there. You're in Oakland, right?
That's it, right there.
Town business.
Well, let's do it. Well, let's find a way to do something. I mean, maybe get like I said, if you got a day, you're gonna do some work, and you want me to, try and round up some men to come and oil some chains, or I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what the help you may need, but I would love to at least myself offer, but I will invite the men who I know, and I'll connect you to some men in San Francisco too, who I think are really helping men become, help become the man you always wanted to be. And however we can support that, brother, I'm in with you.
Hey, that sounds wonderful, man. I love it.
Man, listen, tell folks how they can get in touch with you, how they can support your work, how they can, find you, where the best, tell us how, and I will put it all in the show notes, but if you tell them here how they can find you, I want to make sure that people can reach out.
No doubt, without a doubt. Our Instagram is at Lost Soul Courier Collective. Email us. We do free Narcan distribution. Narcan. Okay, so Narcan, naloxone, that is the opioid antidote. If somebody is ODing, that is the reversal, and that is the medication that we deliver. Narcan, naloxone. We do community outreach just around the way wherever it's needed. Email us at Lost Soul Courier Collective at Gmail, and we'll bring you Narcan to your door anywhere in San Francisco, to your door for free. If you got some chips that you could spare, you got some coins, you could donate to our GoFundMe, which is Lost Soul Courier Collective, or you can donate to our Venmo, Lost Soul Courier. Cash App is $ Lost Soul Courier. And what else? Yeah, we also take snacks. Anytime you got like canned goods, snacks, blankets, if you got some like clothes that good clothes, like if you got good clothes that we could come and pick it up. Anything, whatever all that. Nice. And man, come ride a bike with us. Ride a bike with us. We do bike rides every last Saturday. We're gonna start making them every other Saturday too. So let's do a lot of stuff, man.
Let's do it. Let's get some youth out.
Come hang out. Just all of that.
Well, we're gonna put links to all this in the show notes, folks. Please reach out to my brother Antonio. And man, I want to thank you for being on the show. Thank you for reaching back out. I know there's this maybe even just part one. Maybe we didn't even get into some of the other stuff, but I just tell you, I'm glad to know you, and I'm here with you however I can support, brother. So thank you, and let's let this be just the ignition to a connection, And however I can.
We're going outer space next.
Oh, okay. Say the last part again.
Outer space after Bezos. We're this far. Huh?
Say the last part again. We said you're going to SpaceX.
Yeah, we're on the next expedition. We're shooting for the stars too, man. We're going to the cosmos.
Those tickets are expensive. I don't think I can afford one of those tickets. I need to win the lottery or something.
Right.
Well, man. Well, you know, Bronson is going to be selling tickets to space. You know, so you know that's the Virgin Atlantic record dude, right? Isn't he? He's sending people up to space. You got to buy a ticket though.
For 5 minutes.
Like, yeah, it's like $23 million, something like that. I don't know. I ain't got that laying around right now. You know, I need to save a little bit more.
I got other things going on. We'll shoot for the stars.
There it is. Taking Off the Mask podcast is produced by Ryan Louie. Editing, videography is also by Ryan Louie. Graphics by Kelly Wong. And a special thanks to the team at Ever Forward, Vanessa Cortez and Kevin Romero. And I'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of the creation of this podcast. As we hit this 1-year anniversary, we hope that everyone who's been a part knows that they're a part of the Taking Off the Mask experience. And we look forward to you being a part of it as well. If you liked what you heard today, please like, subscribe, and share. And we look forward to us continuing to offer conversations that matter. Take care. See you soon.